All right, today is Wednesday, March 21, 2018. This is the meeting of the Kubernetes CSI implementation group. Looks like we have a pretty small group with the three of us, but we can run through the notes and folks can watch the video or look at the notes later. First up is going over PRs that need attention. Liveness Probe with HostPath plugin. Sergey, updates on this?
Right. So yesterday I pushed the PR with the change in the API to be able to trigger an action against a different different container. And well, it seems that it's not very well accepted. Basically, there was a suggestion to rework the live probe and make it as a server, and then with the two kind of go routines. One of go routine would be checking the probe against the CSI plugin driver, and the second would act as a web server and opening like the port on the 127.0.0.1, and then the host the driver then could use like a normal HTTP probe to test liveness of itself, which is kind of funny, and then it would detect so that it's not live anymore and then restart. So it's kind of a weird way, but I guess it's doable.
Okay. I'll take a look at that too. That sounds interesting. So with this proposal, if we implement it that way, it will allow us to have only the CSI container restarted without having to include any Liveness Probe stuff inside it?
Correct. There's going to be an extra container in the pod, but yeah, it will work as expected then.
Cool. I'll take a look at that. That sounds interesting.
So
but
like,
if we can...
Like driver register?
Sorry, what?
It will be a container in the same pod like driver registrar?
Correct.
Yeah, correct.
Excellent. That's exactly what I was looking for.
Okay. Could you post a link here, Sergey, when you get a chance?
Yeah, definitely.
Next up is the documentation that needs to be updated for 1.10. Felipe has been working on this and doing some testing. He ran into an issue recently, which I copied below. Felipe, do you want to talk about this and the status of the docs?
Sure. So status of the docs, I thought everything was done apart from the testing part, which I was planning to give a try to the steps that are described there with a real driver, maybe the NFS example, but then I ran into these problems. So I was thinking about maybe you guys could start reviewing what I've already posted there. I've removed the work in progress tag, and then we can merge it, and then we do it iteratively, and then later this week I added the testing part. But then now I also talked to Luis, and we thought maybe it would be good to rework a bit the examples part, because while I was working on this change, I think someone else added some example, and then now we would have two examples. But I'm in sync with Luis. We can maybe create an examples page and have more than one example, something like that. Yes, and then additional topic regarding the documentation is this requirement of Docker needing that we needed to allow shared mounts. Shared mounts? Is shared mounts the name? Yes. And then this was not by default enabled on my Docker from Red Hat, and the same with Sergey. And I'm imagining maybe Luis knows something about this. We found a page on the Portworx documentation regarding shared mounts with Docker. Maybe you know a bit more, Luis?
No, this is new to me. Just want to let you know that when I wrote the documentation, I never used local. I always used the system GCE. So it was all set up for me.
I think on GC it might be it might just have the correct value. It
Yeah.
looks
Exactly.
in
It's
this
in
page.
the image most likely. It's burned there. But on CentOS, every time when Red Hat pushes the update for a Docker, it switches back to the slave and it breaks things.
Okay. It's probably, this is, oh, okay. All right. Yeah, we have to make sure this is noted. Maybe we can grab some of this documentation and put it in the in like a troubleshooting guide or something like that. Troubleshooting page.
Yeah. This seems like a requirement for the mount propagation, actually. So of course, CSI depends on mount propagation, but it seems like something that would be worth stating maybe in the official docs or something like that. So Docker needs to allow shared mounts. This is something we need for mount propagation, I guess. At least for the bidirectional one.
Yeah, we should definitely bring this up to the OpenShift guys because they need to make this default from now on. Because CSI is going to be there from now on. So we should bring this up to Brad Childs, and he should take care of it from there on.
Well, but the Docker distribution is not part of the OpenShift. It's a part of, I don't know, like a CentOS package or Red Hat package.
No, yeah, but OpenShift is Red Hat. So they control everything through an Ansible script, the installation, and that should take care of this setting.
Okay.
Yeah, so from what I understood, if you just remove that line, Sergey, it works because the default value is shared already. So the slave, which comes with Red Hat, is, let's say, not the default one. So, just removing it would also work.
Even better.
Yeah.
So you don't even have to specify, you just remove it.
Yeah, you can. I can test it, but from what I understood by reading the issues and bugs and whatever, you can just remove it. Yeah.
Okay. I saw
sorry.
I saw a PR that was removing this on the Docker side from, I believe, containerd. And I wonder if like newer versions don't bother to set it at all.
Yeah, I mean, but the unit file that comes with the Docker package, for example, for my Red Hat, it doesn't come from Docker; it comes from Red Hat probably.
Right. So Red Hat would need to fix it. Okay,
Yeah.
we'll assign it to Jan to update the Kubernetes documentation. And on the CSI doc side, you can link to the Kubernetes documentation. And then, like Luis said, maybe add like a troubleshooting area or FAQ or something that you can mention it in. But instead of detailing it in the CSI docs, we could detail it in the Kubernetes mount propagation docs.
Sure, yeah. Let's maybe merge. Let's review and then merge my PR, and then I'll add this on a second PR.
You got it.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you for discovering that. That I think a lot of people would run into the same issue. So,
thanks for the help.
Sounds good. So docs look like they're on track. Current status is Luis, Chakri, Saad, Sergey. Please review this docs PR and provide feedback to Felipe, and hopefully we can get that merged soon. The attacher issue was fixed in the last meeting, so we can stop tracking that. External provisioner had a bunch of outstanding PRs. Looks like they've been reduced somewhat. We were looking for a new owner here. Luis, did you get I guess you're going to find out by next week if you can pick this up.
I already found out, and the answer is yes. So I will be taking care of this week.
Awesome. Thanks, Luis.
No problem.
And then on the driver side of things, Luis and Chakri, we're going to take a look at that. Looks like we've got a couple of old PRs. Feel free to take a look at those and either close the ones that are irrelevant or merge them.
I'm taking care of those too.
Cool. Thank you. Next up, bugs. So we talked about this issue. Looks like it's going to be a documentation to fix this. And then I believe Jan is still working on these. I'm not sure if he had a chance to update this PR. I'll take a look at this offline, and if not, I'll ping you on. And next up is provisioner attacher should use v1 beta 1 instead of v1 alpha 1. I have no idea if Jan's been able to work on that, so we'll have to check with him offline, or I'll ping him. And next up is the drivers repo. So based on our discussion last time, it looks like this is green now, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
So
And the only outstanding item here was to enable the setting in branches.
I did that.
Awesome.
I did that for all of them too.
That's perfect. Cool. Thanks, Luis.
No problem.
So we can stop tracking that. This was completed last time, so we can stop tracking that. And then on the remaining task side, the drivers that need to be updated, FlexVolume is the last one. Chakri is not with us. So we'll,
Also, one thing on the HostPath, it now has an E2E and it also has a, I need to confirm, but it has Canary push into Quay. So E2E with CSI Sanity. So it passes CSI Sanity and it gets pushed into Quay.
and the E2E is running as part of the CI?
Yeah, Travis, yes.
Travis, nice.
So I don't call it E2E. It should actually be called CSI Sanity. It passes the API. So.
Awesome. Glad to hear. Thanks, Luis.
Yep.
So mock driver, there were a couple things left. PR for simplification and making mock driver return all error codes defined in CSI spec.
That's all. It's all passing now.
Okay.
So I wouldn't. Yeah, that's all green now. So.
All right. Cool. So we're looking good there. For iSCSI, I think Chakri has agreed to pick this up, and we'll have to wait on his status there. Cool. So next up is NFS and Cinder. I don't think either Brad or Sheng are here for updates on that, so we'll skip over that. Any updates on the EBS one, Luis?
I still have not received anything. I did let. I have to find out if there's a meeting on this Friday or the next one, and I'll try to jump in.
Cool, no problem. Cutting the 0.2 release, we should target for that on Monday for these external components.
Okay.
Documentation, the entry one is merged. The external one is looking good, thanks to Felipe. And how to create and deploy a CSI driver we can do in parallel afterwards, but it's something that we should start working on. Felipe?
Yeah, how to deploy is more or less covered by the docs already. The creating parts is a bit less documented, so the coding itself. So I would say we could expand it a bit for sure, yeah.
Okay. Cool. And we'll mark this as a P2. It's not a blocker for the release, so we can work on this after the release if needed. Kubernetes integration tests. David is super busy with his he's like the internal release manager for this release, so he hasn't had a chance to look at this. I'll have to ping him for the status update here. Okay. Next up is enabling the CI to run in Kubernetes for the end-to-end tests. Any updates on this, Luis?
No, we're not updated yet. Sorry.
Okay.
I'm going to actually. I tried to deploy it yesterday, and there were no VMs being created by kubeup, so that was weird. So I'll just spend more time on it today. I don't know if something changed.
Cool. Possible test may be broken. Luis is investigating. And then the rest of this is good. CSI sanity. Can we mark this as green now?
Yeah, let me take a look. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. And this was just ended up not being necessary, so. Cool. Next up is importing CSI sanity tests. Luis, you said HostPath has already been done.
Yep.
Cool.
And actually, I use it for HostPath and I use it for Portworx also, and
Nice.
0.2 stuff. So everything's fine.
Cool. And then Flex, iSCSI will have to talk to Chakri and GCE for David. All right, that's pretty much it. Anything else anybody wants to talk about?
Yeah, just one thing. When I mentioned that it's used for Portworx, I don't mean like it's closed source or something. We have an open source control plane called libopen-storage, and that's where it is. So if anybody wants to see how we do things, it's github.com/libopen-storage/open-storage, and that's where we keep our control plane, and that's where CSI is for us. So if you want to see like a real enterprise code, that's in there. So
Nice.
it's all open. So.
All right, cool.
All right, anything else?
That's pretty much it. Thank you, everyone. And we'll convene on Friday and see what the status looks like before the release on Monday.
All right.
All right. Thanks, everyone. Take care.
Take care, guys. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.